Guess it didn't start on Sunday. We're live.
Oh, here we
Sorry,
go.
it's way faster than I. Okay.
That's
Anyway,
all right.
hello. Welcome back to the EU Legends Wayback Machine. Because frick you, Brennan. Episode 25. We're on the 25th. I'm 25. That's also crazy. Look at that. It's like poetry. It rhymes. And we got the bounty hunters, bounty hunter of Ord Mantell, and the planet of Kadril. One of the worst comics.
Very possible the worst Star Wars EU that we've covered so far in this one, where there's a planet full of
starting
chameleons.
out strong. So
there's also a reference to Earth too.
Ooh,
it's very interesting.
Don't want that. Don't like that. They don't know those retcons yet. So
yeah, it says Earth-like chameleons, so you can't have Earth-like if you don't know what Earth is. But
don't care for that.
It's a narrator reference too. Can't be Han that hit his head and doesn't really know what he's talking about, right? With Sunday school and all these Earth references. I don't like it. The
Corellians could have Sunday school. It's not.
When's the Sunday?
It's something else.
How'd they come up with Sunday? Where'd that come from?
I don't know.
Is there 7 days on Corellia?
I thought Corellia was the most like Earth one.
I thought it was Coruscant, but
Coruscant's just all a city. It's just okay. Coruscant's LA.
Start Earth and then
the planet.
Never mind. No, we're already getting in the weeds. First New Year.
So there's this technology. It's sort of an Imperial super weapon that we talk about. So we have Darth Vader, and then we have Han, Luke, and Leia and Chewie visiting this chameleon planet, Kadril. Yes. And the weapon that Darth Vader has, so Kadril is famous for its communication devices. So they make technology, a lot of new technology, and they think that this current version they have of this communication device is going to replace the comlink throughout the galaxy. But they have certain minerals on the planet that counter Darth Vader's super weapon. The super weapon's called passive fog, and it's this fog device. Doesn't kill you, at least doesn't kill humans or the chameleon species, but what it causes them is their worst traits to be amplified, to come out more. So they're very easy to convince, these chameleon species, very gullible. And they become even more gullible when Vader uses this passive-fog super weapon against them. And not much of a story here. Very bad. There's not much redeeming about it. In fact, the issue starts in black and white. And when Dark Horse reprinted certain of these newspaper stories for their 90s series, the early adventures, this is one they completely skipped over. So there's still, to this day, a lot of this comic is still in black and white. It's never been colorized. The Sunday issues were, and it looks like in the version that Robert has up, there is some recolorization on this. It may have been through hyperspace. I think it was added when StarWars.com had this hyperspace lost story archive, so that there may have been some restoration during that period, but not all of it is colorized.
And they managed to make it look way worse in color than it does in black and white.
So the Passifog, I get the impression that it's perhaps less of a super weapon and more of an experiment, I suppose, something that the Imperial scientists came up with and decided, okay, we don't quite know what this is going to do. Maybe it'll do what it's supposed to, but won't know until we try. So here you go. Go and test it on some hapless civilian populace.
And it's Darth Vader, of all people, that's testing this out. And they don't do any favors for Darth Vader. They make him look like a fool. Once again, there's a reoccurring theme in the newspaper strips. Kind of looks like a bumbling idiot throughout this series.
Unfortunately.
It's before like the show Rebels before Rebels, what they did to the Thrawn.
So
Sorry.
What- what they say it does, they say that it brings out a species' worst traits, but I sort of take that with a grain of salt because that's a very sort of imperial way of thinking about it, and we see that with humans and with Wookiees, it doesn't even do that. It just makes Chewbacca sneeze, and that's all it does, and it outright kills humans.
Right. I think the name of this, calling it Pacifog, is just a gag. I mean, these were in your newspaper comic issues with other comedic type stories. So it's like it doesn't feel like Star Wars. In fact, the characters throughout this, like Leia doesn't really feel like Leia, Luke doesn't feel like Luke. There's two elements of the chameleon species on this planet. One, it doesn't like technology, and they have crossbows, and then when Luke and Han go to like figure out where the elements of where to counteract the Pacifog is, they get captured by the people that don't like technology with a bunch of crossbows. Luke doesn't pull out his lightsaber, Han doesn't pull out his blaster to defend himself. So it doesn't feel like Star Wars to me.
I think this is still like, I mean, this is roughly around the movie when the movie came out. This is still in the mindset of A New Hope, where the holiday special came out, where this is just a movie and we just got to make some product for the movie. There's not like any desire to create an expanded universe. It's just we have a Sunday strip, put some in there. It doesn't matter. Put Pacifog in there. Who cares? Darth Vader is not like an important character. He's a toy that we got to sell. So put him in.
He's the run-of-the-line villain. Wouldn't it be funny if we had Chewbacca sneezing? We'll just put him in there. This doesn't do any favors for the expanded universe as a whole.
No. It's that mindset. It's that pre-Empire, firmly pre-Jedi mindset of just like, this is just some movie. We can make a TV special out of this and not put any effort into it.
This wasn't made with passion. This was made like for business. So
yeah, a little bit. And I tell you boys, we're gonna find a lot of that. Trying to go through all of these. There's gonna be times where
there's stuff later on, like way later on. Like I'll still say to this day, like one of the one of the later EU comics that I was like, how. Besides Dawn of the Jedi, that's already like a whole thing. But you have, I would say Knight Errant even has like more like effort. But you have Darth Vader and the Ninth Assassin.
Oh, Darth Vader and the Ninth Assassin is awful.
Awful. And it was made way later when they should have known better by then. So
the ones I always love to point to, and they are probably my least favorite things in the whole EU, which should tell you something. Are those episode 1 tie-in comics that don't do anything, that are across the board completely worthless experiences, only exist to get your dollar out of you. That's it.
Yeah. They kind of showcase some of the characters, but that's it. It's like selling. I remember when episode 1 came out, and they had these Scholastic book fairs, when I was in school when it came out, and they had, bookmarks of Obi-Wan Kenobi, Qui-Gon Jinn, Prince, Queen Amidala, right? It was kind of like that. Hey, here's a comic with Queen Amidala on the cover. It's not really much of a story, but it's just merchandise supporting the movie.
It should have been like in the packaging of a toy, pretty much. It's just like, here's the toy you're playing with. Here's some information about the toy. Also, happy birthday, Autotech. Very happy birthday, in fact. So
thanks for being here on your birthday. Go do something better than spend time with us. I'm just kidding. I appreciate you being here.
Yeah, don't leave. Don't leave.
No, don't leave. We're desperate for views. Just kidding.
Please spend your precious birthday time with us.
No. The not the episode 1 era. We love that. The specific episode 1 Dark Horse tie-ins where it's like Obi-Wan #1, Qui-Gon #1, Anakin, I think, and maybe Padme, something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah, they aren't really stories. They're. I think they use some of the deleted scenes from episode 1. Like where he's getting into a fight with the Rhodian. I think that's one of the comic stories. Anyway,
Yeah.
there's not much there.
Scene. But yeah, anyway.
I like the scene right up until he says, "Oh, Greedo, you're gonna get killed one day." Then I really, really heavily dislike the scene. Then I never want to see it again, to be honest.
And then you have Greedo the younger, Greedo the elder. And anyway,
then we have to do all kinds of Greedo shenanigans to get it to work. Yeah, it's bad.
So Vader and the Imperials want these Kunda stones.
Yes, which are going to counteract the effects of the fog, passive fog.
Well, they're using the Kunda stones to filter out the fog so that they can use it on the Kadrilians, and meanwhile the Imperials are safe from its effects.
Right. So they outfit the stormtroopers with these filters. They're not wearing stormtrooper armor as you would see in the movie. It's a variant. They're wearing like hoods, kind of like beekeepers or something.
And there's this one Kadrilian who is working on something called the vibro crystal that does something.
Yeah, it's a counteract. It counteracts the effects of the passive fog, but it causes some disturbance, like it hurts their ears or something. They kind of run across it on accident because they do all these experiments. The chameleons have all these scientists because they're very tech. They have a gift for discovering tech, new technology, but they're very gullible. So it's kind of weird that they send diplomatic envoys because Luke, Leia, and Han want to get the planet to join the Alliance to help them out. And they're gullible. Everybody knows their species are gullible, so it's kind of funny.
If I had a nickel for every time some gullible hapless fool found some kind of vibrating device, I would be I would have a handful of nickels here, and that would
It kind of sounds like because we're familiar with the vibro axe in the Star Wars expanded universe, but it's vibro as in it causes a vibration counteracting the fog. So it was I kept reading vibro axe by mistake as I was reading this comic.
So there's Kunda stones, which are used as meta crystals, whatever those are, and comlink crystals. I think there's not in the story itself, but I think there's also some mention of lightsaber crystals. And there was also the vibro crystal, which shatters the Kunda stones and ruins the filters that keep out the passifog. It's a big mess.
This is really complicated for something that sucks this hard, you know?
It does make sense if you really get into the details. I think they're like one counteracts another, and then the other thing counteracts the first thing. But it's like, do we really care? Is there anything really redeemable about this story? I don't think so personally. If you guys can come up with anything, I'd love to hear it. I'd love to be convinced otherwise.
This is not one of the ones I'm going to fight you on.
Except the vibro crystal, it shatters Kunda stones, and the planet is made of Kunda stone.
Yeah, Darth Vader wants to know how much of it's on the planet, and they're telling him like Vader, the entire planet's made of this mineral, right? So it's just kind of funny. Again, it goes back to making Vader look like an idiot. I don't like it.
No, I don't think there's a lot. There's not a lot here that needs like examination. There's a reason why Dark Horse kind of like left this one to the side, is because it's a little bit embarrassing. They don't even know what color the things are supposed to be.
Yeah, they're green, and in my version they're kind of yellow, but they're obviously like very bright green in this one. So I don't know. That's hyperspace recolorization, I'm pretty sure.
If you didn't already know that this was supposed to be Luke, Leia, and Han, then
no, you'd never guess.
Yeah,
and they don't act like Luke, Leia, and Han here.
No. So, do we have anything further to say about this story?
Alex, you got anything? Because I'm ready to move on to the next one, the Bounty Hunter of Ord Mantell.
Sorry, we had a realtor and the dog was screaming. But no, no, I don't feel anything for this story. It feels like a cash grab. It happens a few times in Star Wars. This is an early example of it. Like I said, I love the EU, and I'll always praise that 85% of it is either excellent, good, or okay. And then sometimes you get crap.
Yep.
It just
This
happens.
is one of
We have
those
30 plus years
rare
of
times.
continuity.
What?
Yeah.
And this is one of those rare times. Yeah,
You know, you can't bat 1,000 or whatever.
exactly.
You know, especially early on, they don't have that mindset. There's no desire to see this congeal into something special like it would later. They don't know. They don't have that. They don't have that. In
This
mind,
one feels like things made today, where you watch a lot of products and media, and you're like, man, this was just made for money. There's no passion. There's no soul behind it. This feels exactly like that. The only difference is it came out in the 80s. Nobody made this comic and went, oh man, I love Star Wars so much. They went, man, Star Wars is really big right now because Empire Strikes Back just came out. So how do we get money in our newspapers?
I'll say it's not even so much like passion or whatever, but it's concern. It's concern about like providing the highest quality of story. This is just like, I have a deadline and I'm going to meet it. And that's it. And you know, I think all of us have been there at some point. It's just that their deadline happened to be for a Star Wars thing, and now we're talking about it. So I don't have anything else to say, so we can move on if you like.
There was one minor thing, because this is in the LA comic strips, and I forget where I read this, but there was something in the behind the scenes that said that this was the last Star Wars comic issue, the comic run for the newspaper strip, that they plan to end it after 1980, but because this came out in the fall of 1980, but they got so much feedback and so many Star Wars fans writing into LA Times to have them continue it after they ended it. They ended up revamping the series later on, and then the very first issue that came out after it was revamped was the Bounty Hunter of Ord Mantell. So there was a short hiatus, as I understand, in the LA Times comic Star Wars run. Because the Bounty Hunter, the Bounty Hunter of Ord Mantell came out in February of '81. So there was a couple months where you didn't have Star Wars comics.
This one also ends very abruptly.
March, April, May, June, July, August. My mom is still 9 months away from being born in 1981 in February.
I don't know why. I feel weird about saying Cundestone.
I know why. Yeah. I know why you feel weird.
Well, I mean, I know why as well. I just don't want to say.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
It's like, is there a running joke on this? The planet's name is Kadril, and the species are very credulous. I don't know if there's any
Kadril,
sort of
Kundra, Vibro. There's a lot of like weird. I don't know. I don't like any of this. Put this
inside jokes. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on.
Put this in the trash. We don't need it.
The 70s just ended, you know. Peace, love.
A lot of love.
We'll have a lot to talk about in the Cody Sunchild story, pacifism and all that stuff.
Yeah, and how the editors hated that idea, and so made Lando be a mouthpiece for that. So
anyway, Bounty Hunter of Ord Mantell. So the story begins. You have Luke and Leia on a jungle planet, which they're scouting out to be a possible rebel base. And they find out that there's Imperial activity there. There's these, it's concept art for the ATST Walker that they use for this comic. The art's really good in this one. The Star Destroyers are drawn tremendously. We get a little bit of a refresh about what's going on. It tells you that this takes place before Empire Strikes Back, so before that the rebels set up a base on Hoth. So they're trying to find out if this jungle planet is a proper rebel base. They see obviously not. There's Imperial activities, and then they decide to abandon their mission, and Han saves them by picking them up. He comes in the Millennium Falcon and takes out one of the Imperial walkers that are attacking them. Sorry, go ahead, Robert.
I really like the way these stormtroopers are drawn.
They look great.
Very good. Very
I
good.
love the classic Star Wars look of everything. It's perfect. I wish the Marvel Star Wars one looked like this for the majority of the time, but they don't.
So this is written by Archie Goodwin, who we know from the Marvel series, and drawn by Al Williamson.
The A-Team, for sure.
Al, can you tell us anything about Al Williamson?
He might have got up
Oh,
to get
sorry.
a drink.
Sorry, I had to step out for just a second. You hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that.
Al Williamson, can you tell us anything?
Yeah, he was an inker for a long time, and he did a lot of inking for Marvel Comics. I want to say he did Power Man and Iron Fist.
Iron Fist.
He did. Oh, I'm trying to remember anything else he did. He was around for a long time, and he did a lot of good work as an inker and as an artist. But that's about all I can say off the top of my head.
Yeah. So after Han saves Luke and Leia, gets them out of their predicament, they escape in the Falcon. They go through an Imperial blockade. That's where we see the Star Destroyer's artwork. Absolutely tremendous there. See more shots of the planet there. There's the concept art for the ATST. And then there's this scene I forgot to mention on Yavin 4 where they lose track of Luke and Leia because when the Imperials find them, they destroy their ship, and Luke and Leia leave and they go into hiding. And the droids here on Yavin 4 think that since they lost communication with the ship, that Leia and Luke are dead at that point. And Dodonna talks with Han in the next scene, and they say, like, there's no way the rebels can spare a ship to go after and check out what actually happened, because Han doesn't think Luke and Leia just got killed that easily.
Yuzub, real quick, I think he's talking about the guy you were just asking about, Robert. He says he did a lot of EC sci-fi comics in the 50s and 60s. I think he's talking about the guy you were asking Al about.
Al Williamson. Yes.
Al Williamson. So that's something that I didn't know.
Yeah.
So yes, Dodonna says everything's committed at the moment, and Han says, well, the Falcon isn't. I'm not officially part of the rebellion, so I'm just going to go off and rescue them. And Dodonna says, well, good, I was hoping you would.
Because he didn't want to send somebody on a mission. He was hoping Han would take that upon himself, not have to pay anybody, send his own ship there.
Exactly what it was.
So he does care about his friends, and it works out. So he saves them. There, see, we got dinosaurs on the jungle planet, pterodactyl.
I read these in chronological order the first time. So reading this before episode 5, I loved it. I loved it. It was like, oh, here's some actual substance going on in something before episode 5. So, I know we've been going in publication order, so we didn't see this till now. But
yeah,
it's reading these in sequences. It works really well.
Even reading it in publication order, like this is way higher quality than anything we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, we could you can kind of see the progression of like storytelling with the EU there, going from what we've been reading to this. So.
It absolutely is higher quality, and I think that's one of the reasons this is the first story when Dark Horse did their reprints to use this one in their early adventures. So it starts off good. It's a good jumping off point, but before the Empire Strikes Back. And sorry, go ahead.
Now the version we're looking at here, this is the Dark Horse reprint from 1990 something.
94, 95, somewhere. Yeah.
Yes, and it's been colored, and it's had some of the things like reminder text cut out where they can. And
yeah,
if you want the unedited original versions, then
you get this.
Then there are those collections that IDW published, although those are probably very expensive now.
Yeah, they're probably online too. If you search far and wide, you probably find a file of them. Not that we condone anything like that. Just saying that might be out there.
Hmm.
Anyway, so Han scoops them up and gets pursued by TIE fighters. I think we see Star Destroyers. It's not particularly drawn well in that first panel, but I think later on there's this blockade. They get through it. The Falcon's damaged in the process, and he has to find a way to repair the ship. He has to land the ship. He decides to land on Orid Mantell because he thinks it's safe from the Imperials. Unfortunately, when he drops out of hyperspace, there's an Imperial fleet there. So he was not correct in that. Leia reminds him. There's a lot of, I think it's this comic where Leia has a lot of snappy replies in this one. It's really good.
We see the love blooming.
Yes.
The love blooming.
For sure, especially after they land, because Han has to concentrate on repairing the Falcon, and he's very interested in Leia. And Leia's like, you have to back off. You have to concentrate on what you're doing. Repair the Falcon, get us out of here. If your interest in me is preventing that, I'm going to have to remove myself from the situation. So Leia actually leaves the Falcon while they're repairing it. Luke follows after her because there's this situation, and Luke says, "What'd you do to her, Han?" And Luke follows her, but they're tracked by this bounty hunter. So Score is the bounty hunter that's after Han. He wants to collect the bounty that he has from Jabba from failure to repay debt, and he has this little frog. Score has this little frog assistant who's sort of tracking Luke and Leia's whereabouts. Kind of a cool character. I like that he's colorized, because in my version he's not, but definitely good artwork there. And he surmises. Sorry, go ahead.
There was that scene. So there was an earlier issue where Han and Chewbacca managed to get Mozep Benid, or this series is Jabba, in a compromising situation, and then okay, we'll get you to safety if you promise to lift the bounty, and he does. And then there was that scene at the very end of, I think it might have been the issue just before The Empire Strikes Back, where we see him again, and he goes, "Okay, the bounty's back on," because it has to be, because it is in the film.
Right. And I think this comic assumes you haven't read anything, so it's just like, yeah, we don't forget about that stuff with Crimson Jack and failure to repay debt, and the debt's on, the debt's off. But
yeah,
the Score's really after Han because there's a very significant bounty, and he's a bounty hunter on this planet. He has all the Imperial licenses to conduct bounty hunting in this area, but because the Imperial blockade is there, it's unlikely any significant targets would be in the area. So when we first see him, he sort of laments the fact that, like, oh, Orid Mantell's a terrible place to be in the bounty hunting business, right? Because this Imperial activity would scare away anybody he's willing to track. And then he sees Han at the bar there, and he's with Luke and Leia. And he's like, oh, what do you know? Han's got a significant bounty from Jabba. Let me go get him. But I bet he cares about Luke and Leia. So if we could just capture Luke and Leia, that would be a way to get to Han. Because if we just come up to Han on our own like that, we'll just end up like Greedo. We don't want that.
So
Well, the aliens in
Score
these
and
panels too. Got like this
Score and
little bird
Ribbit.
guy.
I like the design of these two.
Yep.
Particularly Score.
Yes.
And this guy here, are they going for a Judge Dredd-esque design with this?
I don't know. The background
It's like
characters.
Judge Dredd and Peacemaker.
The alien behind Chewbacca there looks like he belongs in Smiling Friends. Or
I was
in
gonna
Jurassic
say
Park.
that joke.
Well,
Oh,
I beat you to it.
man,
You got to get
you
faster.
did. You did.
You got to become Sonic the Hedgehog.
right.
All right.
Yeah.
Embrace it.
Yeah. It's the one where is you think about I mean, there's a couple ones that kind of look like that, but I was thinking about the one that's like, do you want to play video games and have a drink of soda? Drink a
Yes.
soda with me.
That exact character.
Yeah.
I always thought Score kind of looked like Yoda too,
He does.
a little
Like
too
a
much like
gray
Yoda.
Yoda.
Well, just his ears and the way like his
Mm.
face, kind of his
Like an
eye,
evil
he kind
Yoda.
of has half closed eyes, kind of like Yoda.
I feel like the dome side of his head is a little bit too like smooth and perfect. That makes him kind of look a little bit like a Star Trek character. But I like the ideas going on here.
Yep.
I like Al Williamson's
Also like-
expressions,
Yeah.
or really his faces in general. The lines here and under the eyes,
Mm.
even up here.
There's a lot of good detail in these comics. I also like that Luke and Leia actually have different clothes on for once. That's nice.
Yes.
Yeah. They're not wearing the same thing every issue.
Sharing too much, he's keeping the same wardrobe too much. That's gross. These are gross
Yep.
people.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Never shower.
There is one scene when they're captured. Luke and Leia both have their hands shackled against the wall. They look like they're wearing very similar clothing at that point.
Mm.
Really, more background detail in general than we've seen throughout the Marvel series so far. We've got this guy over here doing whatever this is. We've got that guy there, this guy over here,
There's like a
this
little
person here.
grasshopper guy sitting next to him.
Right. And the mantis, the big mantis character, I think was straight out of A New Hope. The cantina scene.
I think we see a Kubaz later.
Yeah, so a lot of similar aliens from Mos Eisley. Yeah, that mantis thing, the white one.
Little
in the
shrimp
middle.
guy, whatever that guy is.
Is that a Mon Calamari to his left?
Here?
There's a very skinny one if it is. Malnourished, maybe.
He's been out of water too long. That's how they look, you know.
Just shrinks up, wrinkles up. Maybe. He got big eyes. It's kind of like a hazard.
Yeah,
like
I like
one
that. I like the
dust.
planet. The entire
Yes.
artwork. There's the Kubas that Robert mentioned, but all this artwork's really, really done very well. And
we've got some more Luke and Leia weirdness.
Of course. This is not episode 5 yet.
right,
Still gotta have that triangle.
hard to be jealous of Han, but the way they quarrel, but they act just like Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru. They end up getting married. So
it is nice to have a mention, even under weird circumstances.
What? Luke remembering his basically parents? What crazy. Wow.
yeah, so we got a ways to catch up on the plot there. So his little frog assistant scouts him out, and are Luke and Leia captured at this point? I don't think so.
Not yet.
Okay.
There's this moment with Han and Leia.
She says,
Or
I'm a
Mantell's double moonlight to proper use.
this is almost word for word of what Padme says to Anakin, like, "Oh, we can't be together. I'm a senator." Leia says, "I'm a rebel leader."
See, it's the same thing. Everybody always goes, it's bad writing in the prequels because I don't want to be with you, but I'm gonna wear like all the attractive clothing. It's like, duh, because she does want to be with him. Silly. She just is saying that because she's trying to be proper, but she wants to be with him. Okay, Leia is down bad for Han. Okay, we all know it. Maybe I'm a conspiracy theorist, but I know the truth.
Yeah, she says if your romantic urges don't allow you to finish the repairs, I better just put the temptation out of your reach. And then she storms away. Hey, wait, this streets of a spaceport are no place to wander alone at night. And then Luke goes
And
after her.
And Luke's listening when they
Eavesdropping.
Little rascal. It's an A and B conversation. You should see his way out of it.
No, Luke's not going to let Han take his girl or his sister if you're privy to that information.
Yeah.
And Score tracks Leia walking away first, so they take her out with like some nerve pinch to her shoulder or something, I think.
Or they're Vulcans.
Yeah, and Luke sees Leia on the ground. And he says, "What did you do to her?" And takes out his lightsaber, but Score's assistant is right behind him, shoots him in the back, and then Score sees, oh, a lightsaber. I didn't think the Jedi Knights were still around, but he uses the lightsaber to deliver the message to Han that he had captured both Luke and Leia, and puts a homing device on the lightsaber and a message basically saying, I'm Score the bounty hunter. If you want to see Luke or Leia again, meet me at this location. So there's sort of like a showdown at the 10-mile plateau where Han has to meet Score. He says, turn yourself in. You know, you have a bounty. You're a wanted man. If you want Luke and Leia to go free, I'll let them free, but I need to collect you to bring you to Jabba.
And he also he leaves Han a message and Luke's lightsaber to, well, ostensibly to prove that he has them, but also, as we see later, for other reasons. And I really like how Al Williamson draws Luke's saber. It's very, very accurate.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yep. So Han agrees to meet him. Score is very clear, don't bring Chewbacca along, but he thinks Chewbacca is going to end up being there anyway. He's going to like come in the Falcon. It's kind of neat because when Han shows up to that location to meet Score, he's flying this T-16 Skyhopper.
Yes.
And they're on this little ledge that's dangling above a cliff.
And they're monitoring the Falcon to make sure that
Chewie doesn't come in. Yeah. So this is kind of cool. At least there's a little bit of a story here. We don't get the final resolution to Score in this particular comic run. I think that comes later on in Showdown, or you could just listen to the Bounty Hunter of Fort Mantell on audiobook, the kids version that has a slightly different version of the story than you see here, but they're able to jump off that ledge and they're picked up by Chewie, who's riding some sort of speeder and has a what do you call it, tractor beam to pick them up.
It's a cargo flyer, and so it's designed to be able to pick stuff up like this.
Right. Han mentions he was wearing a metal shirt or something that would theoretically interact with the magnet for the tractor beam.
Yeah.
So you can't just pick up like human flesh. Like that would be too weird. So there is an explanation for that.
Yes.
And I'm not sure about the drawing of the Falcon there, but Leia's drawn very well. You can definitely tell. I don't know about Luke. There's too much shadow in that particular drawing, but overall, pretty good story.
I like it. Yeah.
Score does pursue them once they take off, and the planet is still under Imperial blockade, and Han isn't carrying any cargo, so the Imperials aren't necessarily going to stop the Falcon for smuggling or anything, but he doesn't want to get caught by the Imperials and boarded, because they'll be able to tell Leia's aboard and Luke's aboard. So they try to get rid of him, and they jettison one of the Falcon's escape pods with the homing beacon.
Well, they
aboard.
try to lose him, and they can't, and they're not sure why. And Luke figures out, oh,
right,
there's a
there's
tracker in my lightsaber.
Right. He can feel this through the Force too, so he's expanding his Jedi abilities.
Yes,
At least it makes it known in this comic. So they jettisoned the escape pod, and the escape pod has the homing beacon that Score's tracking in a ship, and the escape pod gets tractored up by one of the Star Destroyers. That Score just follows them right in, and the Imperials catch him, and they say, "What are you doing interfering in an Imperial investigation?" And he says, "Well, I'm a bounty hunter. I got tricked by the bounty I was pursuing." And they say, "Well, you won't be tricked anymore. You'll be sent to the spice mines, the Kessel," both him and his little frog friend. So unfortunately, they get sent to jail. And then the rest of them escape. And that's the end of the story. What do we think of this one?
Solid step up from the last one. Majorly.
Yeah, at least the characters kind of act like themselves. We get to see bit of a space fight. You get to see the jungle planet, and a lot of Luke, Leia, Han love triangle interaction there. So I like the story. It's nothing like super essential, but it's solid. Definitely an improvement over the previous ones.
Big improvement.
Agreed.
Lots of fun. I enjoy the art. I think Score's cool. He's a solid antagonist.
We're going to cover some Marvel comics in the next issue, but I think we might do that on a separate episode. So if you're watching, if you're watching us live, Alex will go live on his channel again with the next episode.
Probably like another 5 minutes. So you just stick around. But yeah, that's pretty much it for these two. Pretty decent, pretty all right. At least this last story, the Kadril, I can do with never reading again personally, but so
yeah, the newspaper strips do get better from here.
Yes,
I think there's a episode coming up where we see the Executor for the first time chronologically before The Empire Strikes Back, but the whole chasing the rebels out of Yavin and to Hoth, where I think Luke is responsible for discovering Hoth is a suitable base for the rebels to hide. So a lot of good stories to come for the newspaper strips, but even better for the Marvel comics, because we have post Empire Strikes Back chronological activity, starting with Death Probe. Death Probe kind of meh, but you'll hear our thoughts on the next episode. So thanks for watching.
Thanks for
yes.
stopping by.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for being here. Yeah. Till next time.